What is up, fearless kids? I am so excited that you've joined us today because we're gonna be drawing Sonic the Hedgehog. We've got paper, pencil, marker, eraser, all the tools we're gonna need. And in honor of today's drawing, I brought out my blue background. I've got the red shoes and the rings. This is Spectacular Kevin's Creative Corner. Get your pencils, markers, papers, crayons, whatever you wanna draw with, and get ready, because here we go. Now, we've got that reference image. Reference images are really important because you want to have something you can base your drawing on. Now, I put my reference image on my iPad. I like to start with a head. Now I can see Sonic's got a really big head. He's either really smart or not very aerodynamic. So you want to start by drawing very, very lightly, just a circle. This stage is called blocking. We're just getting in shapes. We're seeing how he's gonna look, what the pose is gonna look like. Now next, I'm gonna go for that belly. Now you see, his belly's kind of at an angle here, so I'm gonna wanna make another circle, and it's smaller than the head, but it's at an angle. And then we have the feet. His feet kind of go back here. So we're gonna get long legs in there, because he's long legs, they're built for running. Now I'm kind of looking at this, and I don't really like how I put this line down. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase, and that's why you want to draw these blocking lines. That's why they want to be light. So we're gonna get this other leg in. You're gonna come right up to that stomach. Now you're seeing me like sketch over these lines. I'm just kind of setting those in. I think these legs look nice. I'm gonna set those in. How I'm gonna start with his hand is just making a big circle a little bit out from his body, as I can see that this kind of is. And you know what? That might have to go a little lower, but we're gonna see, you know? It might not be perfect, and that's okay. Your drawings don't have to be perfect. We're learning. He's got his other hand on his hip, showing that attitude. We're gonna get that size there. So see this left hand is gonna be a little bigger because it's closer to the camera. The camera would be our eye, our perspective. And now we've got his arm. His arm connects right up. He doesn't really have much of a neck, so his arm's gonna connect right up into his head like that. You're gonna draw this first one, and then make sure that elbow's out nice and high. We're gonna draw that second portion right in here. Again, we're still at the blocking stages, so it doesn't have to look perfect yet, you know? Now this hand's got a bit of a bend to it, so what I'm gonna do, just to get this perspective down, I'm gonna get his elbow out here. This is just kind of like a bit of a skeletal line. So now I'm just gonna kind of fill in that line, just like that. And now we're gonna work on the head. Something that's really useful for the head is kind of mapping out where the eyes are gonna be. Sonic especially has really big eyes, but also a very pronounced forehead because of those spikes. We're gonna find that center, where the center of his head is gonna be. It's gonna be right around here. Where these overlap is usually gonna be where the eyes begin, and we're gonna kind of build his eyes off of this area. Now again, still very loosely, we're gonna get the shape of the eyes. The eyes can be a bit tricky. I don't really like how this is going, and it's okay to erase. And we've got the nose here. And then we're gonna start building his muzzle. Now the muzzle is where his mouth would be, like a muzzle on a dog. Like animals have muzzles. This is gonna go down pretty deep. It's gonna connect right to his body. And you can see it's kind of starting to take shape. You got to use a little bit of your imagination, but it's starting to take shape. And we're going to start kind of filling in these lines here. I made this line here just to kind of separate where the skin kind of meets his fur. And let's see his gloves. His gloves are like two ovals stacked on top of each other. And now we're gonna go in here, we're gonna get this thumb out. So we're just gonna follow the outline of what we've already put down. The Sonic has 5 fingers like all of us, so he's gonna have 4 knuckles. We're gonna draw in those knuckles right over that line, and then we can get that thumb in there. The thumb is gonna poke out to the side like that. Now this is the easiest way to draw a hand. Nice and simple, closed fist. All right, we're gonna get the rest of his back in there, and you wanna make sure that line for his back is coming at an angle. And let's see, this hand is gonna be a little more complex. We're gonna get his glove in here. It's same thing as the other glove. Kind of these two like tires stacked on each other. So now we're gonna get his thumb in here. He's gonna be giving us a big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. There we go. And now we gotta get those other fingers in here. Now this finger pose is a little complicated. So I am gonna actually simplify them. I've got that line in here. So I'm gonna start with the pinky. Because of perspective, these bottom fingers are gonna overlap. Look, now like I said, your hands don't have to look perfect. Hands can be tough. So don't worry if the hands don't look perfect. All right, and the last and final thing, his shoes. Now his shoes are really big. Sonic has big shoes because he's got to run fast. I can look at my reference image. I can see that this shoe, this first shoe, comes all the way out to this spike. So I'm gonna draw this kind of large carrot shape, almost like a big fat cartoon carrot. You guys ever seen these kinds of carrots? All right, on top of that shoe, we've got his sock. His sock is also really big. So we wanna match these now. It looks like on this one, on that reference image that I'm looking at, this one gets a little higher. And this shoe, I can tell, kind of comes out right before his thumb. So I'm gonna loosely measure that. Gonna put this line in here where his foot is gonna enter the shoe. And we're gonna make little wrinkles in his sock. This sock's gonna come down nice like that. You can kind of think this is the tip of the toe right here. So if you draw a little line kind of like that, little curve, you can kind of get that good perspective on his shoe. And now we gotta add his signature white lines. You gotta think, because of the perspective here, his lines are actually going to round out the shoe. So you don't just wanna do straight lines across like that, because that's gonna flatten that shoe, that's gonna flatten that shape. What you wanna do is do nice big lines like that, and nice and round. And this is where the white of his shoe is. And then the same thing on this side. And you got to think that kind of perspective. This one's going to come across a little bit and go down, and it's going to meet right there in his sock. It's okay as you're putting down lines to check, look back and forth at your reference image. I'm always looking at my reference image, so I make sure that my lines look correct. Well, that looks like Sonic, guys. Wow, he's cool. And as an artist, you gotta sign your work. So I'm gonna put in a little signature right here above his shoe. Kev. Now I like to always put the date so I can remember. I wanna know, looking back, how much I've improved. So I'm seeing this in the year 2020. I wanna know in 5 years, if I redraw Sonic, if I redraw the same thing, if it looks better or worse. Chances are it's gonna look better. Here's where we get to inking. So if there's anything that looks a little off, you can tweak it during the inking stage. You're basically just tracing what you've already drawn and modifying lines slightly as you see fit, just to kind of make it look more like your style of Sonic. And there it is, Sonic the Hedgehog, perfectly inked.